Hello guys and girls, my name is MightyBalls and today's replay is regarding the E50, the tier 9 German medium tank. I'm going to show you how to play this, and if you have no aspirations on getting this or grinding this, I'll show you hopefully how to take this down on the battlefield. I'm going to put this into two sections. I'm going to show you a little bit of the statistics about the vehicle, and then I'm going to show you a couple of replays. So I've got the full modules unlocked. Firing AP, try not to fire at APCR, so I'm even going to put that in. I'm doing vertical stabilizers, I'm doing vents, and I'm doing gun rammer. You can swap the vents out for the optics if you really like, but I find I get the maximum view range anyway, and I play this quite aggressively 9 times out of 10, so getting that little bit more view range is redundant. So I have small med kit, small repair kit, and chocolate. Now some people might swap that out for premium fire extinguisher or fire extinguisher, purely because this tank can get set on fire a little bit. I have brother in arms, I have smooth ride, snapshot, situational awareness, safe stow, and I also have like 6th sense and things like that, but obviously this website doesn't show that. So the DPM on this tank is pretty good, one of the best in tier 9 actually. It's 3079.76, which is an alpha of 390 on average on each shot you fire, with a penetration of 220. Now the reload time is 7.6 seconds, which makes it equivalent to a 7.9 rate of fire per minute. I've got a beautiful aim time of 1.85 seconds with a dispersion of 0.26, which makes it one of the best in the game. Now the dispersion on the move, tank traverse and turret traverse is 0.11, 0.1 and 0.06, which is absolutely beautiful. So this tank has pretty decent stats regarding the mobility, with its terrain resistance of 0.7, 0.88 and 1.85. On soft terrain it can feel a little bit sluggish, but it's not terrible. The turret traverse is pretty decent as well, it's 34.11 degrees a second. As I mentioned, because I haven't got optics, I only get 447.31 meters view range, but at the end of the day that is maxed out. Any more than that is just basically stripping camo from tanks. Okay, then we're on the armor section, the live view, so I can show you exactly what the armor does. So if you're seeing one of these head on, you either aim for the lower plate or the cheeks if you're close range. Now the turret is quite small, hitting these cheeks from distance is very hard. The chances are you're going to hit either the gun mantlet or the cheeks of the turret. So aim for the cupola if you can, and the lower plate. So if you see one of these angled, simply aim for the lower plate if you have above 220mm armor piercing to reliably get through it. You won't go through the top plate, don't bother going for the top plate, and most of the side is auto ricochet, so aim for the first wheel. You might not seem to get him every time because sometimes it's absorbed by the tracks, but if you aim just to the edge of the tracks near the hull, you should penetrate it around 185 thickness. Or there is a slight section on the side, you can pen it also between 170 and 180 thickness, or again the turret if you're close enough, or the cupola. So if you see one of these on the side, simple, it's 85 on the side, just below the hull and the tracks it's 80, and on the turret it's between 85 and 110. And finally, if you see one of these from the rear, don't load HE unless you're an RU or a Centurion 7.1, whether you use HESH or HEP, because at the end of the day you're not going to pen. It's around 90 on the hull and 85 on the turret. So that's enough of the boring statistics, let's get over to the replays. I have found myself in an absolute brilliant matchmaking. I'm top tier, not only top tier when there's only 3 top tier tanks on the actual game. So I'm on Erlenberg, I'm on Encounter, I'm going to go down to the 09 line, mop up there, flank round to the cap if anyone's capping, because generally people cap when it's Encounter on Erlenberg, and then I'm going to flank round and try and kill off anyone who's approaching from the south. So a little bit about this tank. Now this tank has absolutely great armor. It's a hybrid between a heavy and a medium, so the armor is quite efficient on this tank, and it rams like a bugger. Unfortunately, spoiler alert, I don't show you the ram on this one, but I promise you guys I will show you a ram or two on the next replay. So this gun is very accurate. If you miss on this, it's generally bad RNG, because this tank is like a laser. It's got 390 alpha, and the reload is 7.6 depending if you got brother in arms and rammer, etc. So all in all, great gun. Now the gun depression on this tank is quite bad on the front, it's 6 degrees, but if you angle your tank and shoot slightly off to the left, you will get 8 degrees of gun depression, guys. So I'm just going to take a little poke here, see if I spot anyone. A KV3 spotted, so I go in. Now I angle my tank so I've got the gun depression. I shoot, and what the hell? I bounce on the side of a turret of a KV3. So I see myself an E50. I shoot into his back and hit him, or shall I say low roll, for 325. Now I get greedy here. I try and get this KV3 again. I do penetrate him, but unfortunately I take a shot from the Super Persian and AT-15. Now I'm going to try and get my tank angled, and there you go. Straight away he bounces off the top plate. There was no chance he was going to penetrate me from there. So I need to get this IS out. This IS is their eyes. He's going to keep us all spotted, and they're just going to shoot us from distance. So I'm pretty sure this IS doesn't realise what a good job he's doing regarding keeping us lit. He's just after damage. So I take a shot, I miss. It was a really bad shot. As I said, in this tank it's generally RNG, or really bad aiming is when you miss. So I put in a shot, I kill off the IS on 92 health. I try and get over, the gun depression's a bit weak. I get shot from the AT-15 and I snipe his cupola quite easily, showing how accurate this gun is. I try and get a beautiful little angle on the Super Persian, but unfortunately the gun depression on this lets it down slightly. As I go over the ridge, it pops my gun up, which made me miss my shot. So I'm going to go for the cupola of this tank. I shoot and I hit his cupola again, hitting him for 437. Now when you hit someone for 450-ish, it does feel very satisfying in this tank, and you will get that sometimes. Now I snapshot his cupola again. The gun accuracy on this is absolutely sublime, hitting him and taking him out. Now I'm going to go over against the Super Pershing. I want to try and take this tank out, and as I said, flank around into the cap, get all the people on the cap, and then take people out from the south. So I've showed you a little bit about this armour, I've showed you a little bit about the position of this gun, and hopefully I'll show you a little bit more about the tank as the replays go on. I put a side shot into the into the Tiger 2 for 355, which was again a low roll. I'm being a bit lucky and a bit unlucky at the same time in this tank regarding the bounces and accuracy. So I'm waiting for this Tiger to pull out, and then I'm going to put a shot into the side of him. I put a shot into him, hitting him for 368, another low roll. Unfortunately he goes back in to cover and I can't get any more shots. So my position here is null and void now. It's pointless being there. My gun's not in the game. I'm going to start putting my gun in the game by taking out the people from the south as well as the guys in the cap. So I spot myself a lovely SP1C. I'm just going to wait until this guy pops out, but in the meantime I'm going to go after this Centurion 7-1. I shoot and I miss. That was bad shooting from me. I didn't give any lead. Now this gun does, which I didn't mention, does have decent speed, velocity on its shells, but it's nothing to shoot home about. It's not like a T50 or T51. So I've taken out the Centurion 7-1. I've done 3.3k damage and I got 3 kills. My team are faltering slightly in the aspects of getting kills because it's 7-7, and we're a little bit up on HP, so I'm happy in the long run. They have only one tier 9 left, and we have myself and an AMX-30. So all in all, this game's looking pretty decent, and I'm going to now try and decap, because at the end of the day I don't want them getting too much confidence that they're going to decap. See an LTTB, I shoot and I penetrate him for 395. I bounce a shot there from the Tiger, showing you exactly what the armour on this tank can do. I don't know where he shot me from because he's no longer there, but I put in a final shot to put him out of the game and leaving only our team with tier 9 tanks. So now I'm going to go and bully these tanks and show you exactly what these tanks can do. I shoot and for some reason my gun missed. that must have been RNG, because even though I snapshotted, that should have hit. So I do an auto aim because it didn't matter where I hit that tank, that was going to penetrate. So I'm going to try and bully this tank. I don't think he realises I'm behind him. I shoot, and now suddenly he realises I'm behind him. So I'm going to keep my tank around this side. I'm going to try and goad him into a shot. Unfortunately he shoots and penetrates me very well angled for some reason. So I've got a better reload than him. I'm just going to finish him off. Now there's an AMX 1390 and a T54 Mod 1 on their team, versus me, an AMX 30, an FCM and a T49. Our AMX 30 is still on full health, so he's going to go in, run in and hopefully distract these guys while I take them out. So the AMX 30's crossed the hill, he's no longer there, so there's only one place he can be, and there he is on the map. We're going to chase him down, hopefully take him out of the game. I see the Mod 1 there, so I turn, knowing that the other tank's taking it. I take a snapshot, but unfortunately I was a little bit too late as he passes there. That Mod 1's only got one thing in his mind, and that's to decap, which is well played to him. So this 1390's been a bit of a nuisance. He seems to be getting away quite easily, but now he's spotted. There's no way he's going to cross this field alive. So I stop, I aim, I shoot, I put him down to 164 health. Now who's going to reload quicker, the AMX 30 or me? The AMX 30, because he shot first. So I'm going to go down here. This game's won. I've done 5,776 damage. I've got 6 kills. I've done my part for the team, and I've showed exactly what this tank is good for in its gun. A few RNG shots, but like that's where it seems to bounce. But all in all, a pretty good game. So let's go over to the second replay. I'm on Redshire, I'm on Encounter again, and I'm mid-tier because there's a few tier 10s ahead of me. I'm going to go off to around F3, F4 so I can take some shots at C3 and C4 area. I'm also going to try and do some crossfire for our heavies on the 0-9 line, and if I find myself under any threat, trying to clear out the 1-2 line. So straight away my AMX 1390 looks like he's going to do quite an aggressive spotting. He's rushing over to a decent area around F or E3-4 area, which will spot all their mediums on there, any TDs and also any lights which are flanking across. So well played to them. A nice little shout out to Yx. I don't know. I'm sorry if I butchered your name, mate, which I 90% believe I did. So anyway, this light tank spotted the Lorraine. I stop, I aim, I shoot, showing the accuracy and how quick the aim time is. I get spotted, so I get below the ridge line. I don't want to get hit, and I definitely don't want to get hit by their RT. So our light tank now spots the Lorraine. He's already spotted one Lorraine, and he's just spotted the RT. Well played, mate. You've already done a good job. We know where their RT is. We know where we've got to be to counter his shooting. So I've got myself unspotted. I'm going to put myself in this bush. The camo rating on this tank isn't so great, guys. It's mediocre, but you are a big lump of metal, so expect that. It's not atrocious, but it's not great. So the light tank's getting rushed by the T49. On his way though, he spots the Lorraine and the Skoda T50 again, and then finally spots the Type 61. I put a shot in, I miss. I thought I was going to get spotted, so I started pulling back, but I didn't. So I pull forward to try and hit him again. The Type 61 pushes forward, I take his shot, hoping that I hit him, and I put my focus on the Jägeroo. I put in a shot into the side of the Jägeroo and hit him for 422. I aim at the Jägeroo again, he's not spotted, but I see that the Type 61 is, and he's down on health. So it looks like I did hit him. So I shoot again as he goes invisible. I don't know if I hit him. He pulls back up and he's down to only 300 after taking a shot there, so I must have hit him. I take another shot, a cheeky little shot to see if I can hit his cupola, but I miss. So unfortunately our Cromwell Centurion is getting his butt kicked by a few tanks, including the autoloader Lorraine. Our 7-1 is going in to try and help the other Centurion to see if he can save his life. So quite a lot of tanks have been spotted, so I know if I'm safe to go in, and my thoughts now is I'm going to try and get underneath them on the ridge line so I can put some shots into the M103 so my heavies and my TDs can progress down that line. Now I got spotted. I'm thinking, what the hell did I get spotted from? Because the RU didn't caress enough in my opinion. So we spot a TD and we spot an M103. I can't quite see him there, so I'm going to progress just that little bit more. I know that the light tank spotted and the T50 is now aiming at me, but I've got sufficient armour to block him, as you just saw. So the Panther decided to try and shoot me as well, and that was another ricochet. So I'm showing you guys exactly what this armor's like. I've bounced 2 shots from the T50 and a shot from the Panther 2. I put a shot into the side of the RU, and I put my focus back onto the TD, because he's a dangerous thing for my heavies and TDs progressing. I put a side shot for 353 and I go in for a final shot. I shoot and I hit him for 425, put him to a 1 shot, and my tanks take him out. Now I'm quite safe here. I decide I'm going to go. I suddenly see myself at T49. I shoot and I pull back purely because suddenly a few more tanks were spotted. So now I spot myself a Panther 2. Now I think, Panther 2, I feel like ramming you. Now I auto aim, but I missed hitting his turret, and I only ramming him for 363, but I finish him off by ammo racking him. So that ram, I didn't quite hit him hard enough, purely because I wasn't going fast enough. So I decided I'm going to go off and try and ram another tank, because this is an E50. I've got 2,800 damage. I have 1 kill. I haven't done a great amount for my team really, but I feel I've done enough. I take a shot. I pen him amazingly. Now I angle my tank to stop him from penetrating me. He shoots, he misses, and I ram him again for 263, and I put a final shot and kill him. So let's go over to the results. So I'm on the QuickieBabies website, replays.quickybaby.com. Basically guys, if you've got any really epic replays, submit them to here, and I'm pretty sure that QuickieBaby might show your replays on his YouTube channel. So I penetrated 3, 6, 9, 11 tanks, giving me a Confederates medal, which is basically just hitting a load of tanks or penetrating a number of tanks, shall I say. I got 5,776 damage with 1,574 assistance damage. I got a Master Gunner, which is basically do 5 armor piercing penetrating shots in a row without missing. I got High Caliber, which basically mean you got to get at least 20% of the hit pool of the enemy team. Confederates, as already mentioned, and Top Gun. I got 1,363 base experience with 6 kills, 5,776 damage, as mentioned before. I made 83,989 credits, with only making a profit of 21,952 because I used chocolate and my ammunition is quite expensive in the E50. I got 2,044 base experience including premium. Because it was a ×2 event, I had 5,113 experience. I did 25 shots, of only which 20 hit, which was partly down to my aiming because it was quite bad in that game. I got 18 penetrations out of that 20, though, showing that this tank really has a decent penetration with its APCR. So let's go over to the second result. So I penetrated 9 tanks, doing a damage of 4,050, which means I must have at least penetrated that Type 61 once whilst he was blind. I did 1,595 assistance damage. I got 1,071 base experience with 2 kills and again 4,050 damage. I made 64,539 credits. I also had a personal reserve for 50% credits applied, but unfortunately QuickieBaby's website doesn't show that. I spent 9,000 in vehicle repairs. I spent 18,000, close to 19,000 on ammunition, and I spent 23,000 on consumables like chocolate and repair kit, which gave me a profit of 45,876. I got an base experience of 1,606 with premium. On this game I fired 15 shots and hit 12 of them and penetrated 10 of them. So a little recap about the pros and cons about this tank. Let's start with the gun. The gun has 220mm penetration. It has 6 degrees over the front gun depression and 8 degrees over the side. It has laser-like precision. Now the bad points about this is it only has 6 degrees over the front, and if you do turn it to the side, you're giving your weak spot to the enemy, which can end up getting you tracked, and perma-tracked at that, in an awkward position where you can't fight against them. Now, even though 220 sounds really nice when it comes to penetration, it's quite underwhelming when you think of tanks like the AMX-30, the T50 Skoda and the Leopard PTA, who all have between 248 and 258, I believe. Now, when you see yourself a hull down tank or a well angled tank or even a heavily armoured tank like the E100 or Mouse, you're not going to penetrate them with 220. Even tab in the 2 key, you're going to struggle purely because it's only 270 pen, unlike the tanks like the T54, the AMX-30, the Leopard PTA, who have 300 plus penetration when they tab the 2 key. On the camo aspect, it's quite poor, but what do you expect? It's a large medium, it's a big honk of metal, so don't expect it to be invisible from 400 yards and closer, especially if you don't have a decent camo crew. This tank can get ammo racked and can get set on fire quite easily, so what I suggest is getting safe stow if you can for one of the perks. And if you're finding you're getting set on fire or ammo racked quite a lot, I would suggest doing a premium fire extinguisher rather than chocolate, and also wet ammo rack so you're not getting ammo racked a lot. So tier for tier, in my opinion, the E50 is one of the best mediums in the game. It has great armor, great gun, it has decent mobility. It's not great, the mobility can be better, but at the end of the day it's a hybrid medium stroke heavy, so you can't give it amazing mobility because then it will be just simply OP. So guys, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. It'll help my channel and it'll help this video. So I'll see you next time.